Have you ever pretended to be someone else who you are not just to fit in that social situation or that particular group? Even if you don't like it, but you feel the need to pretend because otherwise you know that those people, they're not gonna accept you. They don't like authenticity, they just want you to be like them. And you don't know what to do except just keep pretending. It sucks, right? When as time goes by, you kind of internalize that behavior, the way you speak, your humor, your ideology from that friend group or that community. And at some point, you became one of them. Literally, you don't know who you are or who you were anymore. And you never question it whether it is actually the right way to live or it is actually your true self. I myself, I I'm man enough to admit that there were countless times that I had to pretend to be someone else that I was not. I had to pretend my humor, the way I spoke, just to fit in. That's it. It is rooted deeply in our instinct from the Stone Age that we need to be part of the group because it increases our survival. But nowadays, it already disappears. You can literally stay alone and still be fine. But our brain, it doesn't know anything. So that is why we kind of crave for belonging. It's not your fault, but don't forget something, which is the most important thing, is that do you want to live like that forever, for years, in a way that society or people want you to be? Is that the real you? Like, just ask yourself. Try to look back in the past. Which one was the real you? Your current one is the real one? Like, look at it seriously. The way you behave, what you like. Because it is hard to admit when we are wrong or it is not who we are. Deep down, you know it. And when you start to choose yourself, you realize that, wait a minute, what I believe is actually I unconsciously adopted from my friends, my communities, is actually not mine. And when you start questioning them, you realize that, wait a minute, I don't think it is quite right. It is not virtuous, maybe even immoral, hideous. But this is the time that you have to choose your path. You either continue to live like this for how long, I do not know, or to regain yourself back, which it is hard. If you want to regain yourself back, it requires self reconstruction. You need to rebuild your identity from scratch because you need to kind of almost uh, discard your beliefs, your negative behaviors behind. Meaning that what do you have left now? The answer is almost nothing because most of them you adopted from your friends, from people around you, from your environment, from social media, and almost none of them is actually yours. That's why it is really hard. You don't know who you are now, what is your interest, what do you actually like? Where do you belong? You would start asking so many questions. When it gets difficult, you feel like, fuck it. Not everyone would be like this, but a lot of people, they would just like, fuck it. I would just keep pretending because it is easier. I don't need to put effort into the work to be myself. I can just pretend when I'm outside. I think when I'm home, I can be myself a bit more, even though it's not fully myself because my identity integrated with my environment already. So as time goes by and you lose yourself, that is the real tragedy. It sucks, man, when you become another copy from others. No uniqueness, just the same people. Which is why I myself, I chose to be alone. I literally like ghosted all of my close friends. You might think that like, whoa, isn't that too extreme? Yes, it is very extreme. In fact, I try to change or convince them to be better. Like at first, like they change in a better way. I'm not saying that they're bad people. They're good, but they are not my people. For example, if you're an artist, would you hang out with a gym bro? Like you can hang out with them, right? But it would just be better for you if you would hang out with another artist, right? So I kind of value whatever that is good for me, being disciplined, trying to better myself, and I just don't like stagnation. Imagine if you look back a few years ago and you was like, oh, wait, I'm still the same person. Damn, I remember so well. I just drink, hang out with my friends. I had a lot of fun. Excuse me, I had a lot of fun. It was so good. However, your knowledge still remains the same, intact. Your belief is intact. Growth is almost zero. I can't say zero literally because it is impossible for you in a year that you literally learned nothing. I just don't like that. Every single year, I don't remember myself. When I look back, I was like, whoa, last year, that was me. Literally, like last year, I still look back, I was very political, watching people debate it. However, it was very instructive though. You know more about politics, right? It is a very long digression now. Just get back to it. Yeah, just like that. I just regained myself back. Even if it means that I have to sacrifice all of my friends along the way. I honestly don't care. Why? Would you feel bad for discarding your trash? This one might sound extreme, but it is the easiest analogy even a 3-year-old kid can understand it. Would you feel bad? You would feel like, no, that's normal. Yeah, same thing. However, I'm not trying to diss them. It's just that they're not my people, and being with them would just drag me down. I just don't like that. Hanging out with them, talking with them, all of these drain me a lot. I feel like, why am I even here? I'm wasting my time. Like, they're trying to, not trying to, their behaviors and their remarks are full of vices. I just can't stand it. Like, it sucks. So I just like one day got out of it. No contact, no respond. And it is pretty obvious, and they just knew it instinctively that, oh, this guy doesn't want to befriend with us anymore, and they just disappear. If they're watching this, I don't care. You have your life, I have my life. That's it. If you don't believe me, I swear to you, I just got 0 notifications every single day. It's been peaceful. This is what you have to trade when you choose yourself. In fact, it is good because when you choose yourself, do what you like, even if it means that you have to do it alone. At least you would be happier, at least from my perspective and experience. I grow a lot by myself. I don't need them. If those people make you a worse person, notice your word, your behavior, how you treat others. If it is detrimental, then try to be introspective, whether it is because of you solely or it is because of how the environment shapes you. Which is why I think choosing yourself is the best. No one influences me, just me. I choose what I want to do. I can be more disciplined. I can be kinder. I can even laugh with myself. It is in fact my idiosyncrasy. I would laugh after midnight hysterically every single day. Not every single day, but almost. For no reason. I would just laugh at stupid things. Like, even when I was just walking, I was like, bro, today I literally read for hours. That's insane. I laughed. There's literally no reason. Laughed at myself. It is funny. Like, why not? It is good when you can be happy on your own. But it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna be happy when I'm around people. It is also good, talking to people, but if it means that you have to pretend, I'm not saying that you should be rude or like blunt with them like on the first interaction or just be cold because that's who you are. I'm not saying like that. I mean like you get it in a way that like you have to pretend like, oh yeah, right. I like it, yeah. Even though you don't like it at all. And you always have to do that. That is very pretentious that I meant. So just be nice and just choose yourself. It is simple as that. Either you choose yourself now or in the future, you will have to sacrifice anyway. Because if you don't do it, then for your entire life, you are just a product of society's demand. Damn, that is scary. Like, if your current version now is just a person that is shaped by society's demand, this is what society wants you to be a doctor, be mature, and just be quiet, damn man, that sucks. I don't know how to describe this individual in a bad way, but they want you to be like this and you said yes sir. Man, like that's my biggest nightmare. It is as if you were born to serve others. Wow, that is real slavery right there. Even though it is not in a literal way, but you can see it. I don't want to be part of that. That's why I choose myself to be in solitude. I admit that sometimes I feel, is it lonely? Yeah, I would say yeah, sometimes, but it is manageable. Either way, it is miserable. It's just that at least this version, this path that I chose, I can be myself. Another part, you would be miserable too, that you have to pretend. But that's not yourself. That is the difference. And I think you would grow a lot, even be more mature, or even reconcile with your traumas or anger issue if you have one, because you would have more time to contemplate about your identity, the meaning of life, and what you actually want in general. Because you don't need to seek for connection or for friends. If you are a good person and you try to improve yourself over and over again, don't care about anything, just focus on yourself solely. One day, there would be some people who are similar to you. You will be drawn to them. It's almost like in a miraculous way. It is always like that. Imagine if you are an alcoholic. You go to clubs very often. It is almost inevitable that you would have alcoholic friends, right? You go to clubs every single day. Definitely. If you go to the gym every single day, it means that your value is health, discipline. The tendency that you would have gym bros or gym goes as friends would be more likely than having an alcoholic friend in this situation. It is obvious, simple as that. You're gonna attract people who are similar to you. I don't see the point of not being yourself here. You can see the full picture. It's gonna be hard at first. I'm not gonna say that it is easy, but you have to go through it anyway. It is part of life. You cannot avoid suffering and pain forever. Even if you are rich or having a lovely family, lovely dog, a cat, friends from online, at the end of the day, you are still just another individual. You are the only person who experiences your life and your feelings. They might say that they feel empathy for you, but at the end of the day, you are the only one who feels it. You have to deal with it yourself. They cannot, feel it for you. You need to overcome it eventually. So I believe that you can do it. Cut out whatever that makes you a worse person. You can literally be yourself. It's not that hard. I know that you have gone through such horrible things that are way worse than being alone or cutting friends. You can do it. Choosing yourself. And then you will see how better your life is. And I think that is just pretty much overall of this video. And thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next one. Peace.